I think one of the most effective uses of AI helping you write your code. Now, the other thing you got to be aware of, though, is it lies. It generates bugs. So you have to think about, how am I going to test this code? I just don't think you'd be considered if you don't have AI integrated into your coding workflow.
I think a lot of people are going to overly lean on it, especially on the student side of it. And I think you will see standout people that aren't crutched by it, where they're overly reliant. Whole generation of graduates that are great for prompt engineering, great for testing and experimentation, but lack the depth and the rigor required in a lot of the areas of the industry.
How is AI reshaping quant finance learning? Can it help engineer transition into trading roles or entrepreneurship faster?
I think one of the most effective uses of AI in quant trading is in helping you write your code. I'm not a high-frequency trader, but actually I build simulations of high-frequency trading. One of my co-authors I mentioned, David Bird, we're asking the question, if we put a learning trader into a market, will it learn to trade maliciously? Will it learn to spoof? And well, the answer is yes. And so what we're trying to answer this question is, how can we build ethics into learning trading systems? But let me push that aside for a second. I am able to write code so much faster with AI now than I could before. So my work environment is, I've got VS Code with GitHub Copilot. People say Claude is better, whatever. But write code with AI plugged into it. Now, the other thing you got to be aware of, though, is it lies. It generates bugs. So you have to think about, how am I going to test this code? I just don't think you'd be considered if you don't have AI integrated into your coding workflow. I haven't, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I looked at some of the low-code platforms for trading. I haven't personally explored those things myself recently. However, I could imagine a couple things. One, they would enable you to fairly quickly prototype an idea. So when you're looking at one of these platforms, ensure that it is something that you can backtest with. So if you have an insight that you think might be exploitable, give it a try in such a platform. And this is an avenue, people often warn, hey, that's a potential way you could go towards overfitting and creating a brittle model. And that is true. But if it doesn't work in backtesting, it's not going to work in real life either, for sure. So use the low-code platforms as a way to prototype ideas in backtesting. And then if you find something, I think there's a lot of promise there. Not so much because it enables people who don't have a strong coding background, which it does, but it enables you to rapidly prototype an idea without having to develop all the code yourself. But you got to have that backtesting capability.
I think you see compression, which is where you see people that are lacking skills. That's not their fair focus of expertise. I think increasing that. So in many cases, right, I work in quantitative finance. I want to do math and stats. I don't have interest in doing the other non-quant stuff, like the business side of it. So I think you will see, to your point, starting a fund, getting involved, starting being much easier. But I think on the quant education platform itself, it's going to compress the top as well. I think a lot of people are going to overly lean on it, especially on the student side of it. And I think you will see standout people that aren't crutched by it, where they're overly reliant. LLMs are providing more of a speedway from how do you get from point A to point B fastest, but it's not generating people that really understand the mathematics and depth behind traditional modeling. And so I think what you're going to see is a whole generation of graduates that are great for prompt engineering, great for testing and experimentation, but lack the depth and the rigor required in a lot of the areas of the industry.
And in the similar vein of kind of this notion of intellectual modesty, there's also a look for people who are able to engineer systems that somebody else can improve without asking permission. And these days that can take on all sorts of different forms. It can take on, leaning on some of the decentralized networks like BitTensor, Crunch, etc. It could involve leaning on some of the prediction markets like Manifold, Cauchy, and so on and so forth. There are many different ways to kind of tap into external intelligence. Those are two things I look for in a common sort of theme of acknowledging that no matter how smart your firm is, that 99% of intelligence is still going to be outside your corporate boundary. and you've got to do something about that. And these days, part of that external intelligence, I like to laugh like everyone else at the term, but I've always intellectually found it impossible to trivialize it. It is essentially communication. And the more technical background you have, the better you can communicate with another human or with a machine. Yeah, it's a bit of a pity that the phrase came about, because it kind of makes it seem sort of, trivial and laughable as a profession, but it's clearly not. It's just communication.
The AI software can help you create risk scenarios, but then you're sort of manager of those models, so you have to be able to use them. So most of the tasks, I think that the jobs are changing as you are giving people new tools, which are very powerful. I think definitely what I see is it's kind of fun because, I see more intuitively things which are more related to not so quantitative stuff, which is funny, I think, because, one would imagine that the computers does the quantitative stuff for you and the humans does the non-quantitative stuff. In fact, what I see most immediate of most simple use is having the model help you in research, in finding, in creating summaries, in even generating ideas, which then you might falsify or because it's such a powerful database and search, an intelligent way of searching facts and news and knowledge. So that is for the one thing. Of course, coding, it's a boost for even not so skilled coders. They can become fairly skilled coders, which is definitely something improving.
I mean, essentially, all parts where you really require any kind of grunt work to be done, you can use AI to come in and help you out there, right? Apart from that, you can just focus on working with the real stuff that's required, like working on a strategy, building up a resilient model, etc. Even when it comes to execution and monitoring, you can bring in AI, and an entrepreneur would require significantly lesser number of human resources to start off with.